powerful ultimate chunked away, and he goes in. Humanoid though dashes him back with the Emperor's Divide, the outplay.
Leona. Oh, Camille. You should come, Camille, guys. I stand here.
Stage on ult.
I can go,
Okay, no flash. Go
They will
now.
finish.
Oh, they can.
My god.
Oh my god, you stole it! Oh my god.
There is Leona somewhere. No, go here. Kill them.
Come here.
Leona is dead.
Oh my god is completely correct. I have no idea how that happened. None of us have any idea how that happened. Welcome back. This is the LEC. Fnatic are up 2-0. Gentlemen, before we get into that game,
yes,
we need to talk about that one play. So, for like the 5 millionth time, if you've been putting it on repeat, can we look at this? What the heck happens? These are the initial kills leading up to it, but this is one of the weirdest sequences of plays we've seen all day.
Yeah, it looked really good as well, right? You utilize the Camille Ziggs combo to one-shot that target, they can't walk out of it, and they naturally just pop. Then you tried to flex Nash. Now, I think with Nash here, your damage is relatively low. Ice, notably, is kind of out of mana, so he's struggling a little bit. But then, I think the big story here is Noah finding positioning around the Fog of War, around the corner, and Sheo maybe being a little bit scared of the MF ult damage and fumbling the smite.
But how? Okay, you're bringing in actual analysis, and I get it, Eragon, but this should not happen. Like, this is absolutely crazy. It's daylight robbery. I can't believe that Fnatic got away with that. Absolute. Like, I like the positioning of Noah. As soon as he sees the Leona, he's like, okay, I'm going to create that space and move all the way around here. Ultimate, fine. Maybe we can chunk some members. Yes, you get killed. The fact he gets a Baron too? What?
Look, he's the GOAT.
Absolutely.
Or someone on the enemy team is trolling. For now, he's the GOAT, though. We like positive spin here on the broadcast. Let's take a step back, though, and take a look at the draft. Because ultimately, while that was how the game more or less ended, it really wasn't how it started. When we take a look at the draft, what were the initial expectations? What did you guys like? What didn't you like?
I really liked. Immediately, I was super excited about BDS's draft, right? It's super LPL-esque. We usually do see the Ziggs Camille combo come up pretty frequently, but I do think some things went wrong. And right off the back, I think the solo laners were underperforming for BDS. You could look at Adam's KDA and argue, you know what, he did fine. But the reality is these kills were not replicable ways of getting gold. They were very often through random teleports, or opening through mid and finding a pick. His general laning, he would often fall behind despite having these leads. And then in mid lane, Nuke falling behind, getting solo killed under tower often led to Grubs being taken away as well, which this composition very dependent on.
But this is not BDS. Like, when I'm looking at this draft right now, there's nothing about this draft that screams to me this is a BDS draft, right? Let's think about how they were successful. Either you had Adam on some of their old gods champion, but we haven't really seen that quite often. What really worked for them lately was putting him on the Sion, the Ornn. You're just going to weak side, you're just going to be a great team fighter. You're going to scale into the late game where you can team fight and play through what? Your AD carry, who's outside of that last G2 fight, was mega reliable throughout summer playoffs on the hyper-scaling AD carries. What have we seen it on? The Misfortune first pick, the 6. So much of these things I'm seeing right now for BDS, I love the ingenuity. It is LPL. Is it BDS? I don't think so.
It is very against what Ice wants. The thing is, right, with BDS, usually when Zeri is banned, they often go to Jinx. That's the other option they have, but they're just not even looking at the champion right now. I also think another problem here is that Adam, he doesn't play sides, man. Like, is he gonna side? No, he's gonna group. And the problem is when you're grouping as Camille here is you're dashing into an Azir Braum combo, which is a very powerful combo because now Azir soldiers apply Braum passive and you just get locked up the second you dash in. So I think he had real issues grouping here and it was really highlighted in the third dragon fight.
Yeah, the dragon fight especially, obviously the moment that really broke the camel's back. Yeah, the steal was, look, the steal was the steal. Okay, but that was ultimately, this is the fight where we see BDS on paper have the plan coming to fruition, but it just doesn't work out.
And it's kind of a back mistake from Noah. He took the Rift Tile, realized, I can't crash this, I'll die, I have to drive away, drive straight into Adam. But it's a bit too early, no one's really there ready for the follow-up. They can't really get the 6 Camille combo down, and it just ends up being BDS themselves falling into a trap despite them trying to set themselves up for success.
Yeah, that engage felt a bit discoordinated. It felt like the Ziggs ult came out a bit late, like Ice wasn't expecting, and he was also a little bit far away, and then the Locket came in as well to save him.
Yeah, ultimately, gentlemen, we're coming to the next game. BDS, once again, they've lost against the luxury of side selection. They've chosen red side. If the first you don't succeed, try again.
No more Ziggs. I think they're going. If they go
MF
blue
stole
side,
a Baron,
if they go
Eragon.
blue side again, yeah, but it wasn't Ice.
She's a pirate. She'll steal.
They've gone red side.
They've gone red side. They're committing.
Yes,
now
yes,
the question
yes.
then is who gets draft resources, right? Is it going to be a run back of Adam getting counterpicked? Because like you look at the KDAs and you're like, okay, Adam did fine. maybe if we give him resources again, it'll work out this time.
Listen, I'd just love to see Adam on an Ornn. I know this sounds weird, right?
Me too.
Especially of the caliber of a player he's been in the past when he's bringing out these wacky picks. But right now, what I think you need is good late game scaling, and I think you need to set yourself up for success in team fights, because even going back to game 1, it was difficult for BDS with the lead to find ways to play the game.
Okay, but we spent all year being like, BDS, we want evolution. And now when they're under the gun, we're like, go back to scaling. Is
But
that
there comes a point where you can try and evolve, and there comes a point where you have to say, we can't go for it anymore. We have to just make it work. You got to remember what's on the line, and often we've talked about it in the past. It's not about being the best right now. It's just about outrunning the next.
you don't have to be the fastest. You just can't be the slowest.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think this is what happens when you lose a bunch in the playoffs, right? You just go back to what you were doing. I think their bread and butter right now, the most success they had in playoffs was tank top lane. K'Sante Ornn with a front-to-back team fight, hyper carry Ice, and an AD carry mid as well. Play that double AD carry style with an AP damage jungler. Bring back the Zyra, heck. You know, you see that sometimes in the LCK and the other regions as well. I think if they go back to this, which is probably their plan, they could work out here.
Unfortunately, gentlemen, we will get to see that adaptation here on the desk as we will be covering picks and bans. And I think interesting to see how much will change. Also on the side of Fnatic, right? We get the rinse and repeat for the first time this series. On-side selection, both teams on the same respective side. And I don't really know what the adaptations do. Fnatic feel like they're under pressure to change anything. There were some questions. Adam was a little bit unleashed in that early game, more than he should have been.
For sure, but that also goes down to that execution on the first dive, right? Where he gets mega accelerated in the Camille into K'Sante matchup then afterwards. But I gotta say, outside of that, I think Fnatic has been quite stable. You know, Humanoid's actually been having a mega series as well. The Yone was amazing game 1, had some highlight moments here as well on the Azir. It just feels like he's bringing out what we already know, but he's bringing out some new things too. And that also makes it scary, because it's not just about the draft adaptation, it's also the in-game part of it.
And also analysis adaptation. Finn, if you could join us now. 2 high elo top laners was not enough. I needed 3 just to make sure we had full coverage.
Thank you.
For the next K'Sante versus Camille matchup. So let's take a look. Let's get into it. So initial expectations. Scaling for BDS, the safe bet, as we've talked about on the desk. Is there anything in the bans you guys want to see?
Well, I'm very curious why they've chosen the red side once again, because it clearly hasn't been working. They banned Vi Estral last game, and the Kennen on free, so I imagine they're going to change the 3rd ban.
Yeah, I'm looking at maybe a Bromden. I feel like it's been a real problem pick for Fnatic, as well as a Jinx for BDS. I think go back to the hypercarry style when the Ashe and the Zeri are banned away.
Yeah, so now the Kennen is open, so Fnatic is going to have to find a different first pick. I imagine we can go into Sejuani, but it's going to be a Nidalee, which is very unique. Razork did have that great Nidalee game before.
Game 5 versus G2, upper bracket of summer just a few weeks ago now. It's crazy to think.
Is this clever or is this hubris from Fnatic?
Exactly.
What they've been doing has been working, and now they bring out the Nidalee in game 3 when they're 2-0 up, so we'll see if it works out.
If it's not broken, try something different.
Yeah,
appears to be the Fnatic
that's
mantra.
my point, because you're like, do they need to adapt? My thought is immediately, no. What did they do at immediately? I mean, I know the MF was banned, right? But this feels like such a curveball to go for immediately. And Lillia will be picked up. I feel like we've not been seeing this champion enough, and I'm actually quite happy to see it again.
I wonder if we'll see stuff like the Yone come out as well for Nuke, but maybe not. This was buffed, right? Cassiopeia was buffed, but then you'd be stacking double AP, so I don't think it's realistic. I think it's probably going to be something like a Corki or a Lucian locked in here for Nuke. I wouldn't like to see the Cassiopeia personally.
Yeah, and I wonder if we're going to see these cheeky level 1s with Lillia, because I remember when she was meta 2020, it was always a fight for whoever got the chickens. Are we going to see a chicken invade level 1 or not with this Lillia? Because I hope we do it, because you really want to stop the Lillia from being able to do whatever she wants. Because if Lillia can clear faster than you, she can then look to invade you and like stop your clear.
Then you could pick something with mid-prior early game, like a Lucian, and then potentially contest with those rates on the respawns as well, right, into the Corki.
Yeah, it's interesting. We talked about BDS using, obviously, Red 1-2 to secure 2 power picks. Lillia and Corki weren't necessarily what I was expecting. Corki, conventionally good. Lillia, not something we see a lot. I know on paper it's been strong for a long time, but Fnatic, quick to fire back. Again, Renekton, classic pairing alongside the Nidalee and a bit of AD in the mid lane in the form of Yone. Honestly, Fnatic started this draft. I don't know, boys. Feeling pretty good.
I mean, in mid-game, sure, like Yone can cancel out the sleep as well, but you don't get that mid-prior that Eragon was talking about here. And that's a great question. I think it's probably fine, but I don't know. I'm going to ask my top lane connoisseur, what are you going into?
You have 2 options. You can go into the Olaf set Gnar line, where you want to fight them early, or you just lock the Ornn, which
there
is like the most
it's
fundamental, tried and true answer to Renekton across all the battles.
Boys. This feels like a you were right, but at what cost? You said he can go the Olaf, but Adam, the Olaf guy, doesn't want. I don't love it for BDS.
Yeah, I think you can R4 here now, something like a Jinx, and then give counter pick support as well. I think you got to take away the Braum. I think the Braum's been a real pain, and then if you're blind picking, for the Ornn wall as well, and then also if you're blind picking like an engage support, you know, it could be problematic.
but I also am interested to see what Ice is going on as that late game reliable AD carry, because Seri's already out, Jinx is already out.
Aphelios, I think.
Ezreal Misfortune, yeah, but they still have another ban, so there's still opportunity for that to be taken away. So that pool is definitely getting pinched.
Apparently, Ice is supposed to lock in Ashe and also hashtag buff Runins. So if we want to crowdsource our pick bans from the audience here, I can't imagine the BDS will do that.
Ashe is a bit banned, sadly.
Yeah.
But 5 AD carries are
Didn't
banned.
stop the person from making that sign.
Didn't stop him, no. But we have 5 AD carry bans, maybe even 6 now, and it's going to be hard to look into finding a strong scaling AD carry that can also be good in lane. You kind of have to choose now. Do you want to go for like a Caitlyn on 4, like a Kai'Sa, and just try to dominate? Or are you going to go into... I think with Leona and Brown banned, I think it's completely fine to pick something like Alistar on 4 as well. I think Labrov is very comfortable on that champion, and I think we might even see a lock in here, because I don't think you need the counter pick when so many champions are out.
All right, boys, I'm going to hate myself for saying this, but I think it's Thresh Aphelios.
No.
Yes, I think it's time. Labrov was the OG Thresh King.
No.
No, he wasn't the OG Thresh King. But this is definitely not. Oh,
no, you know the pick that Labrov loves in dire situations, it's Blitzcrank. He absolutely loves Blitzcrank. So maybe we see it.
Compositionally, boys, for the average person at home, they see Ornn, they go, scaling 80 carry. Corki's going to hit some of those notes. Is Jhin Corki enough to justify this front-to-back team fight top lane pick like Ornn?
I mean, you can have an insane long range to play around with here. Ornn ultimate, the Lillia sleep from a ball, you got the Corki rockets, you get the Jhin ultimate. Like, they have a lot of space to play around with in a composition of Fnatic that is quite low range.
And we do see the Alistar coming in last. I thought they would pick it on 4, picked it on 5. But I really like BDS comp. I think they have a lot of strong lanes. Okay, Ornn is losing against Renekton, but still the Corki and the Jhin will be pushing early, giving the Lillia time to kind of avoid the Nidalee, because I think if Nidalee goes to 20 minutes and it's even, I think the Lillia is the jungler you'd rather have in your team.
On the side of Fnatic, what are we looking at here in the early game? Is it as simple as just survive bottom side of the map and allow Razork to run free on the top side?
I definitely would look at Razork getting his first full clear off and then playing on that Fated Asher spike. Let's see how well he can invade, using the top side prior, especially in the Renekton, as your mid lane is going to get pushed in as well as your bot.
Yeah, but I also just gotta say, I have my eyes on Humanoid. Earlier today, we saw him bring out Yone for the first time in his career. He absolutely smurfed on it. His CS was through the roof. His damage was crazy in the mid to late game, and I think he is someone that you have to keep your eye on.
We're going to have to see if it's enough. The man might have struggled to hit a couple Q3s, but he hit the ultis when they counted. Fnatic versus BDS, Game 3. Casters, take it away.
Thank you very much, Drakos. We're here for Game 3. Winner goes through to an upper bracket match versus G2 or MDK, depending on who wins tomorrow. The loser will go into our lower side of the bracket. Worlds qualification on the line here in the season finals, alongside, of course, the ability to call yourself the LEC champion of 2025.
It is. We'll do it when we get into the game.
Yeah. We've shot for it. You can call yourself that. Won't be true. 2024.
We're jumping into Game 3. We'll see if BDS can make the reverse sweep happen. But just to clarify, so G2 has the ability to do the funniest thing, because they've already qualified for Worlds.
Yes.
In the past, because our top 3 would qualify, a win here could also qualify you into Worlds. But that's not exactly the case, depending on the results. I'm not going to go into all those results right now, but basically, because G2 have already qualified, just getting top 3 doesn't necessarily guarantee you a spot at Worlds.
Yeah, because if G2 lose, they're already at Worlds, right? So finals guarantees you a spot at Worlds. We can say that.
Yes.
Win this, win your next series, you are at Worlds.
But also winning this, depending on how results go, could definitely increase your chances.
I think it will increase your chances. I don't think there's any depending on how results go for that one. Vedi, but here we are, into the game. We saw Razork throw out a spear towards top bush. Adam was not waiting there, so didn't get hit. It looks like both the junglers are likely to start on the top side of the map. Ward goes out from Sheo. He's actually pathing down towards the bottom side. Just place that ward to spot if his top side is being invaded.
Yeah, I'm curious. I would imagine Razork is going to move down to his bottom side, because what we saw the last time was him, the last time we brought it to Nidalee, was going for this very quick gank topside on towards BB in that game 5 of the upper bracket, and then able to get that early kill and run away with it. But starting on this top side, I wasn't sure if they're going to go for some sort of dive, but it looks like instead going to try and play around potentially on this bottom end of the map, where you will get some sort of push, but I think there's way less of a dive potential. So more than likely it'd be full clear for the Nidalee, and then maybe look for a playoff of next time your camps are spawning up towards that top end.
Interesting to see a leash here from Ice and Labrov. We're able to get here in time to catch that minion, but it just accelerates Sheo's path through the jungle when you get level 2. When you get that watch out Eep, you have a lot more single target damage. So Be able to clear slightly quicker than Razork. You can see he's about half a camp ahead right now.
Thanks for saying it, Jenny.
That's what I'm here for.
Appreciate it.
I'm just watching League of Legends, and you carry on.
Yeah, sure.
No, I was
chilling on your
I was actually,
on the sofa.
I was actually just very entertained by watching Labrov just yeet people with this stuff, and I was just kind of just quietly enjoying that to myself.
You do see lane priority though. You can see Noah already at 13 CS. There is a stacked wave up here, so Ice will be able to get some of that back, but it's not going to be an 8 CS catch-up. That's what the differential is right now. Extends to 9.
The surprising one for me is Humanoid having that push in mid, so I think that may have been intentional from Nuke to let him get that push, which is why we're seeing Jun now lean up towards this mid lane to just guarantee this gets pushed in. You can see Humanoid taking a little bit of punishment from Nuke every time, so hopefully as Jun pushed up mid, Nuke backs off, but I think Nuke still has a good spot to just freeze this and put pressure on towards a potential Sheo gank.
Sheo will be spotted as he goes towards the tri-bush past his Krugs if he does decide to path that way. Razork's caught up in jungle pathing. Sheo actually working his way past his red buff bush. It looks like with the push in mid, Humanoid and Razork are both going to step towards the top side. Sheo caught out, flashes immediately. Humanoid dashes across the wall. The chase continues as Sheo falls for first blood. Razork trying to hit the spear here. Nuke trading back in, still has the flash and the Valkyrie to dash away. Will escape to fight another day, but first blood to Fnatic.
I mean, the timing was just perfect there from Fnatic. I think that Sheo, the idea is, oh, my mid wave is pushed in, let me head over, maybe I can alleviate some of that pressure, maybe I can interrupt the base from Humanoid. He was not expecting both Razork and Humanoid to just be lying away in that bush, and to his credit, he respect flashes immediately. He doesn't hesitate, he doesn't take the gamble, but they just collapse over the wall. Nidalee, Yone have that type of mobility. And the fact that first blood goes over to Humanoid, one of the worst champions that you could give it to in the early game.
100%, yeah, double scuttle as well. Double buffs for Humanoid, double scuttle for Razork if he wants it. Actually started pathing up towards the top side, went out of vision, then went back down towards bot. Nuke caught with the spear! He tries to flash, he can't dash those claws! Razork gets on the board, 2-0 Fnatic.
The Razork's Nidalee's real, man. This is the second time now we've seen this brought out, and he has looked fantastic on it. And the fact that Humanoid now has red buff, specifically in this mid lane as well, is huge, because a lot of what Nuke wants to do is play with range, poke him out, but now with red buff and the fleet footwork, Humanoid is going to be able to farm up a storm, and he's already 700 gold ahead.
You know now that every time Fnatic's coach looks Razork in the eye and says, I really want you to play Sejuani, he now has the authority to go, no.
He just prints out the score from these two games, holds it up.
Because you're completely right. It was Game 5 against Fnatic in the upper bracket final where he locked in the Nidalee. We saw the first pick Renekton, we were baffled, and he made it work to perfection, and it was off the back of these very early ganks. While criticism has been levied towards Fnatic ability to snowball, the one thing you can't say is Fnatic, Razork I should say, he knows how to use a lead on Nidalee, and we're going to get to see him do it once again.
Pathing down towards the bottom side, Sheo is a camp behind, has no camps down in his blue side quadrant either, only the Krugs available to him. He's going to start up this Drake with Razork in the vicinity, and Humanoid already pushed out mid. I wonder if a collapse will happen from Fnatic. The wave in bot lane starting to push in towards them. Now they'll see Ice and Labrov moving away. Indications that the Drake has been started by BDS, but no fight coming from Fnatic.
Humanoid just ulted in the mid lane though, didn't end up connecting with it, it looks like on towards Nuke, so Nuke could have started to play a little bit more aggressive, but now on the bot side.
Labrov able to keep Jun at bay for the moment, takes half his health, uses the Drake as a taxi away, and it is secured for BDS. They get something on the board, but a 2k deficit currently sits in favor of Fnatic. Oscarinin looking for a plate here. Call of the Forge God coming out. There's the first Brittle proc, the second into the Dominus, and Oscar will survive by popping an ult of his own.
We now have to turn our attention to the Krugs, because the reality is that Sheo has the ability to go back to base. I say that Razork actually went back to base first. He's already back out onto the map. The pings are coming down from BDS. It's Humanoid that has control over this wave for the time being. A very healthy lead he's been able to find. You have to credit a lot of that to the double buff that he was sitting on not too long ago. Oscar, though, with the push, committing his ultimate. Yeah, it looks like BDS making the smart call. They're too slow to respond. They recognize they're not going to be in a position, and Razork just leveraging the mobility and clear speed of this Nidalee to secure the grubs uncontested.
Also, the fact he's cleared his bot side jungle means there's little that Sheo can kind of do to invade, look for something. Maybe you can get some vision down to spot out where Razork is, but not really a big option. Oscarinin, though, not having that ultimate means they're a little wary of going for the dive against Adam, especially with flash open available for him. So I think it'll be more Razork moving back into his own jungle, resetting, and then going out to pick up his red as he spawns on the bottom side.
Makes the most sense. Still want to be farming up on that Nidalee. Get yourself up towards your first item. Faded Ashes and the Haunting Guys sitting in his inventory. Oscarinin, once again, looking for plates here. Needs a chunk of damage from Adam. Call the Meek. We'll get him a bit of healing back. Razork on this side of the map, but Adam holds the wave outside of tower. Jun dashed forward onto Humanoid. The grand entrance coming out as well. Humanoid took about, 3/4 of his HP, but does have the TP to get back in, and Jun will clear this wave. Clear this ward, in the face of Labrov. Or at least try to. Can't quite get there in time. Labrov knocks him away.
Now on top side though, Oscarinin kind of low.
With the wave bouncing back towards Oscar, Adam's going to try and jump away, but the spear connects through the Ruthless Predator to stun Adam. Still able to put the clap back down on Oscarinin. Razork will get his second of the game, a 1-for-1 exchange.
I mean, best case scenario really there for Adam. That was a situation where Fnatic shouldn't have been able to find a very easy pick, but he's able to at the very least get something back. The big problem is, look at this Nidalee, 1.2k gold lead for Razork. He's just continuing to snowball out of control. BDS though, gathering around mid, looking at hold on to control around this wave. They need to go back and catch that wave bot though. I guess they want to make sure that Duke can get this push in.
Good damage from Humanoid. You can see Lillia for Sheo trying to hit with the bowling ball on towards Humanoid as he dashed back towards his soul and bound, but doesn't end up connecting. So BDS will just force back. Noah gets the push on bot. So you're seeing the waves getting shoved in very quickly for Fnatic, which means they'll be back out onto the map, can then look to push out waves, the next 2 or 3 waves when they get back as well, and then look towards 2 minutes on Drake, 2 minutes on Void Grubs. And I imagine it'll be the Void Grub take for them again, because side lane control is just very good for them right now.
I mean, honestly, I think if you're a Fnatic fan, you should be pretty optimistic based on the series that we've seen. Game 1, we saw them actually being able to execute upon their composition. In Game 2, we saw them, find some promising picks, but ultimately come back from a deficit. And now in Game 3, they're demonstrating their early game dominance, which is what they showcased in the finals. Let's see if they can snowball this.
Oh, he dodges away. The fate sealed there. Labrov with the knockback. Labrov has the Unbreakable Will though and dash back. Stun landing from that trample onto Humanoid in the end. Should do about nothing in the mid lane as neither team really able to get the upper hand.
Just getting another wave pushed in. Humanoid will want to reset just a little bit to try and get himself in position for the next dragon, but good poke from Fnatic at the moment. Razork doing a great job.
Nidalee. It's very obnoxious. Razork with good control over the bot side river. And yeah, just keeping it dark for BDS is just gives so many advantages to Razork. Mobility as well. They want to try and steal that Grom.
Spear connects. Razork can pounce forward or just go for the smite. Smite into those claws is enough to get him another camp off the map.
Is that a full 2 level? No, it's about a level and a half difference between them.
Level and a half difference and 30 CS, Vedius. 1.5k gold lead now for the Cats.
Look at the amount of vision that was set up behind BDS here. It makes it very, very difficult for them to really try and play in towards this dragon. Thank you, observers. You can see it there. Like, if you're trying to contest dragon, it's nigh on impossible. So Fnatic, with these resets, should be able to get back out and look towards that push. But you see where Razork is in the map. He's moved back up to clear his top side. So imagine going to walk back through mid to contest that. But maybe they are just going to look for Void Grubs. Although with the amount of vision that they have, I think it's just a good time to look for the dragon.
I think it's just a reset timer thing. Noah wanted to go back to base, get his item, but he needed a few extra waves, so now he decided to back. You can see him now making his way out into the map, and Razork's like, you know what? I got camped top side, my clear speed is super fast, I can grab these, and honestly, they might even be in a position to contest as well. TP is available for Oscar. Humanoid, he's a little low on HP, he probably has an item that he's close to securing as well, so maybe they're just happy to concede that.
Yeah, Nuke had to go back to base as well. He was completely out of mana, so he's got a TP back in. Adam is now going to TP back in, so it looks like it's going to be give up on Dragon entirely, and they're going to look for the dive on Adam.
BDS not going for the Drake either right now. Razork is behind Adam. He's already been hit by a spear, as you can see, chunked out on that health bar. Call of the Forge God coming out. Oscarinin will tank another spear, connects. Adam trying to dash away. There's so much damage on him, but he's able to turn it around to Oscar. A 1-for-1 exchange in the top lane once again.
And he got the majority of the wave thanks to the ultimate too, so yes, you end up getting that kill, but Oscarinin falls, keeping the top side even. But Razork a 1.7 thousand gold lead. And he's going to start roaming that down towards the Dragon. He is sitting on a lot of gold, but so maybe Fnatic don't want to overextend for that.
I mean,
but he's in such a good spot.
Credit to Adam individually. I think that he's played pretty well in the situations that he's been thrown himself into.
Yeah.
But in the context of the greater game, Razork finds himself with 3-0-1. The Dragon starting off.
I mean, this is really bad for BDS. They think they can do this easily, but Oscar has TP and Adam does not. So if Fnatic decide they want to take this fight, it becomes very tricky for BDS. Fnatic aren't going for it, and unfortunately, the TP advantage doesn't really mean too much as they decide not to bring Oscar into the fight.
It's mainly just because of the timing of Humanoid.
Yeah.
He'd just come back into mid lane basically as the Dragon was falling. We look back at this top lane play, the TP comes through, initial spear lands, good damage of course from Razork. Then used, as you noted, Medic, Adam uses his ultimate to try and clear out the wave as quickly as he can. He's able to thin this out. Oscar takes a lot of damage, but we're back to live.
Humanoid caught out, jumps away with a Fate Seal, but he's gonna have a quick nap. For a second can dash back, but it won't buy him much time. He flashes the wall, the shield from Jun. Humanoid dashes back in, but Sheo puts him to a final sleep. BDS get their third on the board.
I'm not really sure what Humanoid was doing there.
I had the same thought.
Yeah, like, I thought he'd just go bot to clear out the wave. It looks like they're trying to swap where Humanoid was positioned on the map, but going through a river that BDS had already taken for themselves for Dragon is bizarre.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the logic. I'm not sure what it was. Maybe he saw a ward off a control ward that he thought he could go and grab, but either way, he ends up dying for it. Red buff tried to be stolen by Razork, but he's not able to secure it. Level 11 now. That is
level in the game.
That is quite a strong... Oh, we're going to get a POV. Oh, yeah. So you called it. He's just rotating towards bot lane, but he's not allowed to go this way.
Yeah, it's a really green path to rotate to bot lane. And then also, after getting knocked back by Labrov, walking back forward into
like,
it.
I'm going this way, Labrov, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. And then the rest of his team go, are you sure about that? Yeah, so he dies. Big mistake there.
When you can't kill the mobs around the big boss, maybe don't try and force your way into that area, you know?
Humanoid being matched by Adam down towards the bottom side. Fnatic still 2,500 gold ahead. The Call of the Forge God being used by Adam. Humanoid dodges it with the Mortal Steel Q3.
Yeah, play the Rune King. It's a very nice spike for Yone. And there's really not much Ornn is going to be able to do about this. Gotta be careful about the tower shot. Nicely done.
Humanoid just dashed in there, didn't get an auto attack down on the tower and took about half his health.
Got it.
Suboptimal, but still fine. As Adam was able to clear out the wave. Did of course have to burn that Call of the Forge God earlier on. Fnatic out to almost a 4k gold lead now, and Humanoid, as you say, with that play of the Rune King, will be able to rip through Adam if they are isolated in a 1v1 and there's no tower to defend the Ornn.
So with no real objectives on the map, teams now turn to things like the side lane out of towers. For BDS, you could look at top side, for example. You can build up a slow stacked wave with the top wave, slowly invest your vision on towards the top side of the map, and cross-map that tower for a bot one, which is the one that Fnatic is likely setting their sights on. Mid used to be a high priority target, but at this point in the time, you shift your AD carries towards mid lane, and because of double static shiv, it's just too much wave clear, so it's a difficult objective to siege. And then the question from the teams becomes, do we cross map or do we fight? And based on the positioning of BDS, it looks like that they're here to try and stop the siege coming through from Fnatic. You can see them looking to try and push in mid, get control over the bot side vision, but BDS is contesting them over this vision.
Yeah, it looks like trying to compete for this bottom wave, but they will eventually have to send someone on towards that top side. I think that's where this plan is going to fall apart for BDS. So Fnatic can shift Humanoid down. They're shifting Noah now as well, just using the fact they have that wave push, and now they can overload this bottom side of the map.
Yeah, because typically, as Dagda was just saying, the way that you would force your way in is by using numbers, right? So you overstack, you put one mid, you bring 4 bot, and then you move as 5 in towards the bot side jungle once you got that mid push. But because they have the Herald and because they have Yone, they can kind of do whatever whatever they want. And Fnatic, they have a nice top push. They've got push in mids. They're actually going to use their pressure on bot to unlock mids.
Nice getting chased out. Call of the Fortune coming out from Adam as they look for Razork. The tower still standing for the moment. Quickness out by Jun. Razork able to buy a second. The charm not enough as Razork falls. Adam gets one. Jun eats the curtain call and he'll go down as well. BDS find 2. They lose pressure in the bot side, though, as Oscarinin should be able to take this tower.
So as Fnatic are trying to get that numbers advantage, BDS drop bot tier 1 in lieu of saying, hey, we can overload the mid lane instead and try and catch Fnatic with our numbers advantage. It does mean, though, that they lose both towers in response for Razork's life. Sure, it's a shutdown, but honestly, I think Fnatic are kind of just happier to have that map stayed in their favor.
My initial read on that play was over-eagerness from Fnatic, a degree of hubris where I want to see the replay just so that I can... Because I wonder if that wasn't over. Because I'm like, why is Razork this deep, right? And so we'll kind of look at the map state. So they're on vision. You can see the collapse coming through. I guess maybe, no, they should see Adam as well. So I just think this was an overzealous play from Razork. The most impressive thing is the fact that Razork takes so long to die. Nice play from Jun to charm up Ice. But yeah, bit of an overstep.
TP going in, counter TP by BDS, but Sheo's already so low. The lilting lullaby going out is dodged by Humanoid. Fate sealed, gets him out to safety. Oscarinin trading onto Nuke now. Just needs a couple more auto attacks. Can he get in range? Adam trying to keep him at bay. Nuke dodging away, but the Call of the Meek puts him in his place. Oscarinin finds another. Kai'Sa collapsing as well. Noah has that killer instinct. The spear going wide, and Noah dashing in now. Adam down to half HP. Jun here as well. BDS wiped away in the top lane.
It's a complete collapse from BDS. They had some defense on mid, but top has fallen apart, and now Fnatic, they're just taking over the map. Even Humanoid TPing the bot side. They're just going to push all these waves in and control the map.
See, you're running into the problem that we talked about in game 1. Who deals with Yone? It's one of the reasons why he is becoming such a strong pick. His laning is not that bad, and he gets to a point around one item, really, where he can just outduel most people. And so he did a great job in the side lane. He solo killed Sheo, and arguably he should have had his life traded, but with some fancy play, he's able to get away with his life, and a nice TP from Oscar, also helping secure those additional kills. Fnatic extending the kill lead, extending the overall gold lead, and they're likely going to get their first dragon of the game.
And imagine phase checking into Fnatic as well. You already highlighted the Nidalee, but in towards Humanoid, in towards Jun, Oscarinin, like, this is not a fun time for BDS. Yeah, bowling ball to try and get something, but...
Even Noah, as he gets towards 3, 4 items, like, he's just chucking out those Void Seekers, that's the name of them. Prey Seekers.
Together we
Rex IQ. Yeah.
The thing about tanks into Renekton is that they do make sense in terms of like team fight value later on, but into Yone and a side lane, they just struggle. They can't do it. They can't even really hold the wave, especially against this champ that can use E, and he can like tower dive you. Like he does this, right? He hits you with a W, hits you with his Q. Obviously this doesn't look like a great trade now, which kind of defeats my point.
But he heals it up. Like look at his health.
And then he just heals it back up, yeah. And so this is what he just gets to keep doing, which is why the Ornn is going to struggle, right? The early Bramble Vest, obviously big purchase from Adam, going to offer a lot of value. And then Razork has the ability to just kind of play around whoever he wants.
I mean, Jun's just used his dash. Noting Lullaby coming out, the quickness will get him as far away as possible as Adam dies in the bottom lane. Jun trying to escape. Grand entrance will be back up, but shouldn't buy him enough time to survive this. BDS get a 1-for-1 exchange across the map, but they lose a tier 2 for doing so.
Yeah, look, Jun shouldn't have been there, but 1-for-1, not the end of the world. You get the tower for Fnatic. It's not going to change the course of this game. And honestly, the tower is falling in favor of this Yone, only going to make the map state worse for BDS. So Fnatic, in the grand scheme of things, still very much ahead.
Ultimately, a surprising series, given how dominant Fnatic have been. We look back at this play from the bot side of the map, and oh, the spear does connect. Ultimate comes through, and just the damage from the duo is too much for Adam to deal with.
I mean, it's also Adam using Bellow's Breath when he sees Nidalee's nearby on a ward, right? You're going to get locked up immediately afterwards if you hit the Q3 on the Yone, or if you hit the Fate Sealed, so perhaps a little bit greedy looking for the wave clear there, knew that Nidalee was nearby.
And earlier I mentioned a surprising series, but perhaps that's unfair of me because what Fnatic are demonstrating is their upper bracket performance from playoffs, right? They did dominate their way through the playoffs. They did defeat G2 initially in the 3-2 series, and it seems to be the return to form from Fnatic. When some of the pressure seems to have been taken off, it feels like that they're playing the way in which they found success in the past, and they're dominating.
Even in the first half of every game of finals, they played really well, right? It just feels like perhaps they fixed a few of those issues. The early game hasn't been as purely impactful today as it was on that finals day. They haven't gone out to as large a lead. In this game, though, they've developed a 7k gold lead. They are in prime position to close this one out and close out the series as well. Move through to our upper bracket matches.
But more question marks are going to raise around BDS, right? Yeah. Especially when they looked promising against G2 as well. Following that, they were confident that they actually had more to show. And then coming into this series, they just haven't been able to close any of these games out. Of course, they will still be in the season finals and move into our lower bracket. But yeah, they're going to have to fix a lot in a short amount of time to be ready to ultimately try and qualify for Worlds and fight for the title of season finals.
Kind of getting good control on this top side now, though. Just trying to use the fact that they can shift back and forth between mid and top and put pressure on towards BDS. BDS trying desperately to hold on to some control. I think Fnatic will slowly but surely start to choke them out, especially as the poke lands.
Oscar moving down towards the bottom side. He'll catch that wave. Humanoid's up in top. Both of them have their teleports, but so do Adam and Nuke. So Adam is more likely to answer Oscar when they see him down towards the bottom side. Currently, no one's going there. No tier 2 stands there either. Baron begun by Fnatic. No vision for BDS. Humanoid continues to push in.
Actually have no idea.
Humanoid continues to push in. It might just be sacking his own life here for the Baron. Oscar's still in the bottom side. Has that TP. Humanoid dodges away with a fake seal, but Nuke's here to close in. There's the Baron taken by Fnatic, and Humanoid's looking to take the life of Nuke alongside it. In the end, Sheo gets the kill, but Oscar with that Baron buff, with the 6 grubs as well, almost takes the inhibitor. If he backs in the right place, the inhibitor tower will go down.
That is a really good use of Yone to secure Baron. They cleared out all the vision. They created this massive point of pressure top. 4-5 members went to try and shut down this Yone. He almost gets a kill onto Nuke. And yeah, okay, you don't have the Baron on Yone, but ultimately you secure the objective uncontested. But you secure the bot tier 3 as well. Just overall great play from Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic running the map, and then BDS are struggling to find really answers. Yeah, get the pick, but it's not much. And now with Dragon in 20 seconds, Fnatic really establishing themselves on the map. They push in waves. They might have even catched out Labrov here if Jun wants to go, but I'm going to take it a little slow here. Just get the vision instead.
Even if Jun W's over the wall, if Labrov times his Q properly, he wouldn't get knocked up by it, so he would be able to escape that. If there was more collapsing on him, I'd be a bit more worried.
I'd just be a little worried about the self-CC from the Pulverize more than Nidalee's spear, that's all.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there, Rob.
And meanwhile, Razork is suffocating the jungle camps. He is 3 levels up.
That's one way to kill him.
He's yeah, but Sheo is just being denied all form of farm experience, and like it's a great thing that you at home can do as well. Like when you have this type of lead, rather than trying to force your way into towers, just deny as much farm and experience from your opponents as possible. Really make that level discrepancy and item discrepancy that much bigger.
I think the major issue I have with that, Betty, is assuming anyone who's watching this would ever get this sort of lead on a Nidalee jungle. Yeah. We are in Europe after all. Perhaps if we were...
You can do it with leads in general.
Oh, that's understandable.
But not Nidalee.
Yeah. Yeah, don't play Nidalee in my solo queue games, please. I don't trust any of you. You too, Kadril. None of us trust you. We now look at these sieges towards these tier 2 towers. Baron's still available, and Fnatic are gonna make quick work of them. And that bot inhibitor exposed. Yone likely gonna start making his way towards that. The spear, that is 50% of Nuke's HP.
Yeah, there's no one really that can tank it for BDS either. Labrov doesn't have his Warmogs up yet, nor does he have the upgrade. If Adam is around, sure, but he's built predominantly armor so far. Thornmail, Sunfire Cape, and now a little bit of Magic Resist alongside it, but he has to try and deal with Humanoid in the side lane, who just dashes back using that Soul Unbound. And now Fnatic move 3 people towards the mid lane, transition to pressure this tower once again. Next wave in top is coming in soon. Rob just using the combo to try and clear out that wave a little bit quicker. 10,000 gold the lead now for Fnatic, and that upper bracket spot in their eyes. For BDS, they've fallen foul of Fnatic once already this year in a best of 5. Then they were reverse swept. Here, the story very different. Fnatic basically have been in control for the majority of the series.
Yeah, and again, I wouldn't say that it's been a clean series from start to finish, right? We've seen fumbles from Fnatic. Game 1, we had some question marks around some of their setups around the objectives, their mid-game macro, but they were able to ultimately find good execution on the fight. And and they were getting picked left, right, and center in game 2. So there's definitely room for improvement on the side of Fnatic, but ultimately it is an improvement from the last series that we saw from them. And that's ultimately what I think a lot of Fnatic fans wanted to see, a stronger version of Fnatic, the Fnatic that they showed us pretty consistently throughout summer for the most part, and I think that they've showed that today.
On the opposite side, though, for BDS, it still feels like a lot of their issues are still there, where they're not really sure how they want to try and orchestrate in the early stages, not seeing the jungle support link up in the way that we would want to, and they're trying to fall back to team fights, but they're not being able to set up properly for those team fights. So I think for BDS, it kind of raises a lot more of those questions coming into what will be them, if Fnatic close out this game successfully, going down to the lower bracket.
I mean, I wonder if a bit of an identity crisis for the side of BDS, which surprises me because I felt like Nuke ultimately did have some really huge moments in summer. I mean, we were having conversations around like who is the second best mid laner.
I mean, solo killed Humanoid.
Yeah, yeah. So the expectation's certainly high, but he's felt very muted this series, and that's not to say that it's entirely been his fault. BDS haven't been able to really find many big team fight wins in their favor, but yeah, back to the drawing board will be the situation for BDS, assuming this game goes the way that we expect, based on the current state of the game. Baron in about a minute 20. We imagine that Fnatic is waiting for that objective. This will be one of the moments that BDS can find an avenue back into the game. If they can find that steal, or if they can find a good fight around that objective, it'll give them time to stall out the game, maybe get a few more items, and give them more opportunities to fight in this series.
BDS looking to see perhaps if they can catch Oscarinin up towards this top side. If Nuke hit a rocket, then Ice can follow up with the Deadly Flourish to try and get that root down. Can't find it. Razork was waiting in the wings anyway, and you can see the damage from the spears. Labrov takes half his health, still doesn't have that Warmog, so will have to retreat to the base if he wants to heal up that damage. The entire jungle is littered with Fnatic wards in case BDS ever have the opportunity to walk out of their base, but they haven't had that luxury over the last few minutes. They've got a couple of wards of their own. Drake up in a minute's time, Baron in 30 seconds, but Fnatic are just, going to take away this Gromp, take away another camp, suffocate, as you say, Vedius, Sheo out of the game.
How do you try and shift out of this as BDS? Because there's so much control in this bot side jungle, even on the top side as well. The second you move in, you're walking into a bunch of poke, to a bunch of AoE CC. It's incredibly difficult. They're getting some semblance of control here back on top side because they're foregoing bottom because they know Fnatic are going to try and teeter over towards that next dragon, and maybe they can hold on, but Oscarinin just takes a bit of a love tap.
Just using his health bar as an exchange for vision control. And people at home might be wondering why haven't Fnatic just ended the game? They're 10,000 gold ahead, they can just win, right? Well, they don't have the most range when it comes to sieging towers. Nidalee ranged auto attacks and a Kai'Sa there as well. They can split push, but there's enough wave clear on the side of BDS to try and catch those waves before the split push really becomes too impactful. So you can see what they're doing is trying to pull BDS out of their base a little bit, let Humanoid push in bot, get the in-hit, but as soon as they get the Baron, that becomes mitigated a lot. The waves push in a lot easier for them.
You do have to be careful of grouping up as Fnatic, because that engage is still very threatening for BDS. Adam into a flash follow from Labrov, so trying to keep BDS separated and look more for skirmishes is ideal for Fnatic. And you could think, hey, look, you've got poke with Noah and Razork, just play it out that way, but that's when you're most vulnerable against this composition from BDS.
Not the most explosive style, but it's definitely the most patient and the one that had the highest odds of winning Fnatic the game. Get the Baron, do it safely, clear out all the vision from BDS. You can go for the Drake if you want, but it's not Soul, and it's a Chem Drake, so who really cares about that? Instead, just push in, bait seal coming out from Humanoids. He looks to put the damage down onto Adam. He'll have to dash back with the Soul and Bound, but Noah does not have to do the same. Noah dives in with a Killer Instinct, and Fnatic find another.
This is a result of BDS. While the Baron was going on, they tried to attack Humanoid on the bot side of the map. He was completely safe, in no real danger, and now Adam finds himself overextended on the bot side for an easy collapse from Fnatic. Now with the front liner gone, Fnatic have an easy way into the base. They're continuing to play on all three lanes. Oscar pushes in top, and BDS are crumbling under the multi-lane pressure from Fnatic.
And you can see how much easier it is to push in with the Baron-empowered minions, right? Obviously, when you kill Adam, it becomes easier to push into the base as well. But the wave play from BDS just doesn't get through the extra tankiness of those minions. Troubleinc him down. Adam up in 13 seconds time. BDS still holding on to hope in this series, but the hope's sure to be extinguished soon, I'm sure. Humanoid flashes away there. Could have been knocked up by Labrov. The first Nexus tower has fallen. Fnatic Just doing it by the numbers. Call of the Forge God, the curtain call comes out as well. But there's no encore here for BDS. Oscar dives towards the backline. A lilting lullaby only to one person. And BDS are being the ones sent to sleep. Oh. Beautiful combination at the end from Fnatic to put the icing on the cake of a beautiful 3-0.
Fnatic, they definitely seem to be back in form at the very least.
I mean, decisive stuff from Fnatic. This was by far the cleanest game, and once more, Razork's Nidalee popping off. There is very rare that I get excited about EU Nidalees, but my God, I want to see this man pick this up more often.
I mean, yeah, he picked it in with such confidence too, right? First pick, said lock it in, I have a game plan, and he did exactly what he did last time. Found early leads, he found kills across the board, and he's one of your options for your key player of the series. You can vote at LEC for Razork, Humanoid, or Noah. All very valid options, depending on your preference. But yeah, I definitely think one of the biggest changes we've seen for Fnatic is the fact that they're willing to play around Humanoid so much more in the mid game, right? They just kind of leave Noah isolated in mid, he catches farms, whereas Humanoid will go off to the side and they'll just make sure that he has the resources to be basically become this huge mid to late game threat.
Yeah, and I think that's where you'll see a lot of what you'll expect coming in towards Worlds and everything as well, is just the fact that with Static Shiv so prevalent in the meta, you fight for a mid contest, then play towards sides, and when you've got Humanoid popping off on the Yone, it makes a lot of sense to just play around him in the side lane.
Does everyone from Fnatic, I think today stepped up. Oscarinin had a couple of really good games as well. His Kennen, where he went 0-1-12, still being able to find the backline in a couple of those fights. Did a superb job. In a few moments, we'll be hearing from Troubleinc and one of the Fnatic players. Not quite sure who it is as of yet, but I have to remind you guys that tomorrow, G2 are playing up against MDK. The winner of that will face Fnatic next week, I believe. Yeah, it makes the most sense in terms of how time works. If they faced last week, that would be very odd.
I'm actually not entirely sure of the schedule whatsoever.
Yeah, because it's only 2 weeks, so it might be next week is the losers bracket.
There are two more best of fives next weekend. But yes, it's one of those things where I would be hesitant to say that Fnatic are back in form entirely, right? It's only one series. I think that BDS honestly didn't show us as much as they have based on what we saw from them during the split. And so, you know, we'll see how Fnatic continue to develop.
We're winning Worlds.
But it's also, you know, Fnatic only had that bad series against G2. There was a little bit of a stumble towards like the end of it, but realistically, the rest of their playoffs were good. They beat G2 in a really close best of five.
It's
so,
very true.
I mean, it's a bit, like, I'm hoping that this is the Fnatic that we get to continue to see.
Yeah, and the last time Fnatic lost to G2, they lost like 4 games in a row in the regular season. So they've overcome that.
They're just back to back to back.
Now they just start winning everything. If they perform like this across the rest of playoffs as well, season finals, I'll be excited to see how they do coming into the finals weekend. Obviously, Munich as well, very exciting to be there. And then Worlds after that. But before that, we do have Troubleinc standing by. Troubleinc standing by with Oscarinin and Noah in the Marriott Bonvoy post-game check-in.
Troubleinc reporting for interview duty. Thank you very much, Medic. Noah, Oscarinin, congratulations for a very swift 3-0. Congratulations for a very swift 3-0. Thank you. Now, Oscar, I want to start with you and ask you about how you've been spending the past 2 weeks. It was a very tough round 2 weeks ago. How have you been spending it until now?
I mean, obviously it was pretty rough to lose against G2 in the final that way. So we've talked a lot about our issues in the team, what we should work on, and I think we are slowly improving it. So yeah, I think everyone is playing a lot of League and is very motivated for season finals and to get revenge against G2.
Of course, and Noah, I know you are very hard on yourself whenever you don't have a good performance. Did you feel good about today? You stole Barons, you popped off on Ezreal.
I can't be happy people win G2, I guess, because I knew we are better than everyone, but we should win G2.
What do you think went wrong in the G2 series? What do you think went wrong? What did you guys do wrong?
I mean, I could carry 100%, but I was still getting pressure and I throw myself. Yeah, so if I solve it, I think we can win G2 for sure. Yeah.
That was a fantastic performance today, Noah. So it's definitely a resurgence. And Oscar, he seems to put a lot of weight on himself. How do you guys help him recover from things like that?
I mean, obviously, we know how he feels and how he thinks and works. So, yeah, we all try to support him a lot. So he feels good, confident, because when I see Noah confident and he's playing good, I think he's a monster, a complete beast.
Looked like it today, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think he just needs to be confident and he will 1v9 every game. So, yeah, we just try to support him.
Let's leave the sad things in the past. Let's jump into now. We were looking forward to this best of because there's been many patches between what happened in the finals and over here. Same old for both of your lanes. Oscar, let's start with you.
I mean, I think there are changes in my lane, but it's just we didn't see a lot today. But I think you can feel it more in the jungle. I think you don't see as much AP junglers, even though they are there for sure. But I think since there is more champions in jungle, there are more champions in top lane and everywhere.
And for you, Noah, does it seem like the patches changed anything in the champion pool?
I mean, I think ADC's got weak, but still meta is similar like champion, so meta was similar.
Oh wait, you said AD carry is weak?
I mean, static Kraken got nerf, Ezreal got nerf, you know, so they got weak, but still strong, yeah.
Can I get a statement?
He's not fine in the head.
So AD carries are definitely not weak, right?
AD carries are always the most broken role. He's just coping, but it's okay.
All right, thank you very much, guys, for joining me. Congratulations on a very quick 3-0. We're going to toss it over to PGL, where Razork and Humanoid are waiting with Drakos.